Picture this scenario. You use your credit card for a big purchase, say $2,000 on new furniture. You have the cash in the bank to cover it. You wait for your bill, you pay it off perfectly on the exact due date, and you pay zero interest. You are a responsible borrower. And yet, 3 days later, you get an alert that your credit score dropped 25 points. You did everything right, but you still got penalized. This happens to thousands of people every single month. The reason is simple. You are playing the credit score game using the wrong date on the calendar. To understand why, let's imagine your bedroom. Let's say you are incredibly tidy and you clean your room perfectly, making the bed and putting everything away every single Saturday morning. But imagine a photographer bursts into your house every Friday night, right when your room is at its absolute messiest. They snap a picture of clothes on the floor and unmade sheets, and they show that single photograph to everyone you know. The banking system works the exact same way. The credit bureaus do not have a live video feed of your bank account to see your good habits. They only receive one specific, badly timed photograph of your debt, taken right before you actually clean it up and pay it off. Let's map out how that actually works over a standard 30-day billing cycle. As you swipe your card for groceries, gas, and dinner throughout the month, your balance steadily climbs. This calendar shows that climbing balance. When we reach the end, day 30, we hit the critical moment, the statement closing date. This is the exact day the bank generates your monthly bill and takes its snapshot of your finances. The specific balance sitting in your account on this exact day is hard-coded into your credit report. That is the number sent to the credit bureaus. Here is the flaw in the plumbing. Look at the right side of this timeline. Your actual due date is usually 20 to 25 days after that snapshot was taken. Because the bureau only sees the photograph from day 30, they see a high balance, even if you drop that balance to zero by paying it perfectly on time. That snapshot creates your credit utilization. That is simply your current balance divided by your total credit limit. It is an incredibly sensitive metric, making up nearly a third of your total credit score. The scoring models generally hate anything above 30%. That is the first major cliff. If you cross 30%, you look like a risk. If you cross 50%, you look like a crisis. And if you max it out near 100%, your score goes into free fall. There is also a panic zone you need to watch out for. The math applies to individual cards, not just your overall limit. You could have an excellent 800 credit score, but if you max out one single card with a low limit to buy a plane ticket, the algorithm flags it as distress and drags your entire score down. The good news is that utilization has no memory. Unlike a missed payment, which stays on your record for years, utilization is forgotten the moment a new balance is reported. If you have a high balance in January and your score drops, fixing the balance in February makes your score bounce right back. If you wait to pay your bill until it arrives, you do not control when that snapshot is taken. You are letting the bank dictate your financial reputation based on your worst day of the month. Logically, you might think the solution is simple. If a high balance is bad, then paying everything off early to report a perfect $0 balance must result in the absolute highest score. In reality, that triggers a penalty. Consistently reporting $0 confuses the algorithm. To the scoring model, it looks like you are a ghost, someone who doesn't use credit at all. And a person with zero data is categorized as slightly riskier than a person who uses credit responsibly. These 5 cards show how high achievers solve this. They use a strategy called all 0 except 1. Right before the bank takes its snapshot, they pay 4 cards completely flat. But on the 5th card, they leave a tiny balance, roughly 1% of their limit. Leaving a balance on the snapshot date does not mean you will pay interest. You still have 3 weeks until your actual due date. As long as you pay that tiny remaining balance before the actual deadline, you pay exactly 0 in interest charges. Leaving that 1% threads the needle perfectly. It gives the algorithm the exact signal of active, responsible use that it wants, without ever triggering the high balance penalty. Setting up standard autopay will not do this for you. Autopay is designed to prevent late fees, not to optimize your credit score. To adjust the timing, you have to take manual control. Here is how to do it. Step 1 is information gathering. When you open your banking app, it usually screams your due date at you. Ignore it. You need to open a past PDF statement and locate the specific date labeled Statement Closing Date. Once you know your closing date, set a reminder exactly 3 days before. On that day, log in and manually push a payment, dropping your balance to $10. A few days later, the snapshot generates that $10 balance, sending it to the credit bureaus. Finally, just ensure that the remaining $10 is paid off completely by your actual due date to avoid any penalties. That is the whole adjustment. It is a two-step payment process that successfully separates your actual spending habits from what appears on your credit report. There are a few guardrails to keep in mind. First, do not close old, unused cards. Closing an account permanently removes that available credit from your total pool. With a smaller pool, your utilization percentage specs instantly, even if your spending stays the same. Second, avoid credit cycling. That is when you max out a card, pay it off mid-month, and max it out again. Banks view multiple max-outs in a single month as potential fraud, and they will freeze or shut down your accounts. If you find yourself constantly hitting your limit, this bar chart shows the ultimate low-maintenance alternative. Call your bank and ask them to increase your credit limit. A higher limit naturally dilutes your spending. Spending $2,000 on a $5,000 card is risky, but spending that same amount on a $20,000 limit keeps you entirely in the safe zone. No manual calendar adjustments required. By taking control of the snapshot, you stop being a victim of the algorithm and start being the manager of it. Try paying your balance down 3 days early this month. Watch your score and see exactly how the math works for yourself.